Hello Scorpio, welcome to your reading for the 31st of August through to the 6th of September 2026. We're just going to, first of all, it's a general reading, okay? So we're going to welcome in the Archangels, Ascended Masters, light beings, spirit guides, and any higher selves, of course, and any animal, ancestral or dragon guides you feel resonant with, Scorpio. We're just going to grab a card here for the overall energy of the reading. You know what, I'm going to do that again because something sort of flipped and then I didn't take it and then I was like, why did we do that? So let's just run through this. Hang on. Right, overall energy, King of Pentacles. Okay. Let's get some context around that King of Pentacles for you, Scorpio. Okay. 3 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, High Priestess, and Death or Rebirth. Interesting. You could be working on a legacy at the moment, Scorpio, or maybe you've been working on it for a while. Sometimes the 10s can signify that we've come to the end of that element. So this is earth, okay? Fire, earth, air. I'm pretty sure that the element that comes after earth is air. Oh, it could be water. Anywho, there's something about this 10 of Pentacles, this thing that you have created or that you're in the process of creating, that, you know, it could be that you've been working quite well on this legacy here. And maybe you're very good at what you do as well. But this is also abundance. So it's almost talking about a lifestyle that you've created for yourself. And maybe just recently it's kind of feeling as though it's feeling like you're perhaps going to finish with that, or finish with an aspect or a part of that and move on to the next level or the next phase of your life, because you have the rebirth here. Okay, you also have High Priestess. So it's like your current energy is that you're really tuning in to what's going to be the wisest thing for you moving forward. And it's almost as though you're rebirthing into your High Priestess here, Scorpio, rebirthing into your inner wisdom, to your higher self energy. You know, you also have death in the general direction moving forward. So I think you are, and the Empress, right? So this is transforming or rebirthing into abundance as well. Which is very interesting. Underneath you have the 10 of Pentacles again and the Page of Pentacles. Sorry, the Page of Swords. So it's looking like maybe there's a new legacy that you're going to be working on. And you're feeling pretty inspired about it. It's also perhaps activating your curiosity here, Page of Swords. And it's very interesting because, you know, we've just mentioned we have death, rebirth repeated here. You have 2 very powerful major arcana, High Priestess and the Empress as well. And you also have the 10 of Pentacles repeated. So there's something about a legacy that you have been creating, and a new legacy, I think, moving forward. Or maybe it's to do with how you can shift and change the current thing that you've been creating, the current legacy as well, possibly. Knight of Wands and the 7 of Pentacles. It's interesting that the 7 of Pentacles is generally an energy of reflection. Okay, so you're looking at, with this thing that you've created, maybe it's a lifestyle, it's a way of life, it could be a job role that you're very involved with. And it could be a whole lot of things that, you know, comprise that 10 of Pentacles. And, you know, the 7 is like, okay, now you are looking at that. You're looking at the lifestyle you've acquired, the assets you've acquired, and you're sort of reflecting on, I think, with regard to your passions, you know, what's worked and what hasn't worked in that regard. It's also a little bit like, okay, if you're going through this process of reflection, which is the outcome, that what's going to come from that is that maybe you're going to take a leap of faith or in new direction, basically. Maybe you're going to take a leap of faith into something, which I think has to do with this rebirth energy. It's almost like you're rebirthing into your High Priestess, inner Empress. So you're in the abundance of your wisdom. Okay, Scorpio, is what this is sort of talking about. The abundance of your wisdom. King of Pentacles, King of Wands and the 3 of Pentacles again. It's interesting, isn't it? Because at the start you had the 3 of Pentacles with the 10, so you're kind of building this legacy. And now it's almost as though you're going to be maybe co-collaborating or building something, again, perhaps with a group of people. And maybe this is like King of Wands, like a new boss, but it's interesting that this was preceded by the Knight of Wands. So this could well be you evolving and developing your skills, talents and abilities in a new area which you're very passionately aligned with, Scorpio. King of Wands, okay, very creative, almost innovative as well, but really passionate and, I guess, motivated to bring this thing forward, whatever that is, okay. And if we look back at the King of Pentacles here, which is, you know, talking about abundance, you know, you do, let's just hold this up before we grab the spirit guidance. This is that you're coming from a very abundant foundation here, Scorpio, okay. You've created an abundant foundation. But there's something about that foundation that's going to shift and change. Okay, it could be maybe you're going to do move through a job promotion or a job shift. But I think it's, you know, it's definitely in the realm. There's lots of earth here. 7 of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles. You have the 10 twice. You know, it's very much about you building, I think, maybe a new type of foundation. Justice, yeah, it's in alignment, and the King of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Wow. I'm really glad I didn't reshuffle that deck again, because I did shuffle it and we put it down. I was like, yeah, let's just draw those without shuffling. And we have the alignment here. So Spirit's sort of saying that if you feel as though you're going through a rebirth into something that's going to be more in aligned with your passions, that's probably the correct way to be thinking, or the correct way to be approaching it, because, you know, you've got this Emperor, High Priestess here, your intuition aligning with your personal truth, and waiting for the time, waiting for the right timing. Okay, death is slow change, so maybe this is not something that's going to happen overnight. It's probably going to be something that you will evolve through, and definitely this progression from the Knight of Wands to the King of Wands is a progression of your skills, talents and abilities. Okay. Ace of Wands, yeah, a new passion. I had a feeling with this Knight of Wands, it was like you're going to sort of reflect on what you've done, which is probably, you know, that might be a process in itself, okay? And then you're kind of going to weigh that up and go, well, now, yes, I'm passionate about that, and you're going to feel a whole lot of potential and maybe like a rush of energy, you know, and maybe, you know, I know we're in sort of eclipse things going on at the moment, so sometimes eclipses can sort of spark us up and fire us up, and, you know, really provide the energies that are sort of a bit catalytic in some ways to a process of change, that maybe you just start the process. Okay, it's not that you have to make all of the changes all at once in that, you know, week or when the eclipses happen. It's like, no, it's just the inspiration that starts the process of change. So yeah, Ace of Wands, awesome. You also have the King of Swords here. So you have King of Pentacles, which is overall energy. So this is the abundance. And I think what Spirit's saying here is that you have the, Scorpio, you have the communication skills here, King of Swords. You have the ability to analyze. You have the insights. You know, you get the downloads. And, you know, you have the intellectual ability to pull this off. Whatever it is that you're wanting to move into that's in more alignment for you, you are going to be perhaps needing to activate your King of Swords. Maybe you'll be using technology, maybe not, but this could talk about communication, maybe writing, speaking, you know, doing all that type of thing. You know, whatever resonates there. And sometimes you can use King of Swords energy with, for example, High Priestess and Empress. So, I mean, you know, the Empress didn't get where she is because of lack of intelligence or lack of ability to organize, okay? She's very astute, very abundant, but she's got to where she is, which is like this state of ease because of the work that she's put in, okay? So maybe there's something here, Scorpio, that you're going to work towards that's going to be in alignment with your passions. There will still be work required. You still need to put the time and effort in, but it's going to be, I think, really abundant for you here, Empress, in your reading. And, you know, your inner wisdom. So it's something, there's something about your wisdom here. And the other thing that's just dropped into my mind, of course, is that death or rebirth is your power card, Scorpio. Okay, so this is twice in your reading. I think you're moving into a greater level of empowerment, a greater sense of your empowerment. Let's look at the bottoms of the decks. King of Cups. You know what? I was about to say the only king we don't have is the King of Cups. So basically, Scorpio, you have eclipsed this reading because this is the King of Cups now. So you have all the kings, right? Fire, earth, air and water kings, which means you are moving into, I think, your higher self energy, your ability to hold space for yourself to go through a process, and possibly for other people to go through a process, holding space for a community, holding space for a family or friend group or something like that, or a community group or an interest. You know, King of Cups is also very wise, compassionate, understanding, you know, very much like Empress, High Priestess energy. Okay, awesome. Nine of Swords. So there could be a bit of stress, and, you know, the process of change is hardly ever stress-free, okay? But what you're moving into is this ease energy here, the Empress, that state of relaxed abundance, which is really nice. And here we have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, I think another energy that you are transmuting. You have this Ace of Wands here, Knight of Wands, King of Wands. You know, a whole lot of fire here that's going to be used in your process of transformation. So I think, so that you can really, I think, ground yourself and recreate, either shifting the legacy that you're currently building or creating a whole new legacy that you're going to be building, I think. Which, you know, that also feeds into this idea of lifestyle, you know, way of being, way of life, okay? And I think this scarcity mindset is something that you are moving out of, particularly since we have the Empress here, which is abundance, and the High Priestess is not in scarcity mindset, okay? She is really just, you know, tuning into her soul, which is what you're doing here as well, Scorpio, okay, to get the benefit of the riches within your soul, right? The Empress twice. Wow, this is also a beautiful earth dragon. Empress is an earth energy, so green dragon here, calling on the green dragon in your meditations, or the earth dragon. Wow, so the Empress twice in your reading. Did we talk about the, you know, the abundance of your wisdom? You know, wisdom and abundance, okay? This is the key words for your reading here, Scorpio. It's like you're really going to be tapping into that to create this new level of abundance. Yeah, awesome. And that's definitely in alignment with the King of Pentacles there, because he is an abundant energy as well. Or that card is abundant. Seven of Pentacles, you know, bang, doubling up again, confirmation of, yes, you will be going through probably a process of evaluation, looking at what's working, looking at your assets, looking at possibly your health, you know, your health and well-being as well, what's working in that area, and things that aren't working, and, you know, making the changes as needed. So that's beautiful confirmation as well. So there we have it, Scorpio. This is a pretty powerful transformation that I think, if you don't feel as though you're in the middle of it at this point, I think you might be starting this process of transformation pretty soon. You know, your power card twice in the reading. Lots of abundance, lots of fire, transformation, earth, you know, reminding you to be grounded. Yeah, just a really abundant, awesome reading for you, Scorpio. I hope that's been helpful. I think we will wrap it up there, and I look forward to your next reading. In the meantime, have a great day, a fantastic week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.